I'd like to welcome you to LCA's performance of Mary Poppins. For the enjoyment of all, please turn off your telephone and refrain from texting or photographing during the show. That is, we don't want any shiny screens or loud noises interrupting the performance. So, turn to the bloke or lass next to you and ask him, is it turned off? With that said, please sit back, kick your knees up, and enjoy the show.
Winds in the east, there's a mist coming in, like something is brewing and about to begin. Can't put my finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen, all happened before. A father, a mother, a daughter, a son, the threads of their lives are unraveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying a kite. Chim chimney, chim chim, chiree chim chiroo.
Hurry up, Jane, let's run. Come back here, you little blighters. You've got to do your lesson.
I can't do my lessons when I'm flying a kite. And you can't make us, you're only a nanny.
Oi, now you two again. Come along home. Oi, come here.
Good morning, Bert.
Morning, Miss Locke. And how's little Willoughby today?
Very well, thank you. Willoughby! Stop it!
By Jove, is that the beauteous Miss Lark I spy upon the horizon?
Oh, Admiral. Willoughby, stop it!
Morning, Admiral. How's it looking?
Dark clouds gathering over number 17. Storm warnings overdue.
Of all London's byways where I doff me cap, this one's the hardest to find on a map. Cherry Tree Lane, as sweet as a song, but the nannies who come here, they don't stay for long. Chim chimney, chim chim, chiree chim chiroo.
Katie Nana, those little beasts have run away from me for the last time. And who's stuck with the children with no nanny in the house? Me, that's who.
I've said my say, Mrs. Brill, and that's all I'll say. I'm done with this house, forever.
Well, good riddance then. And mind you don't stumble on the way out. Katie Nana, where are you going, Katie Nana? Katie Nana's gone, and is it any wonder? Driven half demented by your children's pranks. Do you really think I made another blunder? What on earth am I to say to Mr. Banks? George, dear, I'm feeling so bereft, dear. Another nanny's left, dear. Every nanny goes. We're unlucky, I suppose. You're never going to find a perfect nanny.
Nonsense! Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coke! The simple truth is that you've engaged 6 nannies in the past 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a paragon who suffers no fool. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane.
Of course, George,
So
but...
take control of situations. Show your authority when interviewing staff. You know your role, they know their stations. Efficiency and forethought cuts the jobs in half. Briefcase.
I thought Katie Nana would be firm with the children. She always looked so cross.
Winifred, never confuse efficiency for a liver complaint. Umbrella.
If only we could find someone like your old nanny, George.
I'm afraid that's not realistic, my dear. Few women alive can manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. And besides, we can never afford someone of her caliber.
Precision and order, he wants nothing less.
It's like an army barracks.
Yes, and we're in the mess.
No
wonder the nannies are driven insane. We're living in a madhouse in Cherry Tree Lane.
Now, Winifred, if you do want to please me...
You know I do, George.
Very well, then place an advertisement in the Times stating that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
We better give them ours before they make another mistake.
I would stress that...
Father,
What's that you're holding, dear?
we've written our own advertisement.
What on...
George, please, I think we should hear it.
Now, Winifred, none of your theatrics.
It won't hurt to listen.
Wanted a nanny for 2 adorable children.
Adorable? Well, that's debatable, I must say.
If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts. That's the part I put in. Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and fairly pretty.
Of all the ridiculous...
George, please.
Take us on outings, give us treats, sing songs, bring sweets. Never be cross or cruel, never feed us castor oil or gruel. Yeah. Love us as a son and daughter, and never smell her bathing water. I put that bit in too. If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us. We won't hide your spectacles so you can't see toads in your bed or pepper in your tea. Hurry, nanny, many thanks, sincerely, Jane and Michael Banks.
Well... enough Tommy rot for one day. Now, will you please go upstairs and let me get to work?
They were only trying to help.
It will not help anyone to make me late. Where's my hat?
George, dear,
Hat!
I thought you put it up here. I'm sure a bowler hat can simply disappear.
Do you think they'll find a nanny who
Oh, there it is.
doesn't run away?
He's brushed it with boot polish. Precision
and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain.
Whilst I remain the sovereign, mind you use the day well.
He remains the sovereign.
I shall be home at 6 o'clock sharp.
He remains the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane.
Good morning.
Yes?
I've come in answer to the advertisement.
What advertisement? We haven't placed any advertisement. Not yet.
George and Winifred Banks live here, do they not?
Mr. and Mrs. Banks live here, yes.
And you are looking for a nanny?
Well, I suppose.
Very well then. Now, let's see. Play games, all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Michael, it's our advertisement.
Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. There's no objection on that score, I hope.
Oh, none at all.
I'm glad to hear it.
But take it up with Mrs. Banks. She manages all that side of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. And don't forget the references.
I make it a rule never to give references.
But I thought it was usual.
A very old-fashioned idea to my mind. The best people never acquire them now.
Oh, you will have every third Thursday evening off from 5 until 9.
The best people give every second Wednesday from 6 till 8, ma'am, and that is what I shall take.
I see. Well, it's all settled then.
As long as I am satisfied. I'll see the children now, thank you.
Oh, of course. You'll find they're very nice children. Now, this is,
Mary Poppins. Jane, don't stare. And Michael, close your mouth. We are not a codfish. Best foot forward. Spit spot.
Mrs. Brill, we have a new nanny in the house.
She passed her interview then?
Or I did.
Very tidy, I must say. Tidier than I was expecting. Who's responsible for that?
Mrs. B, I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making use of that. If there's one thing I appreciate, it's a child whose word I can depend on. Now, first things first, I always do say that the proper place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
There's nothing in it. We better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky. Mary Poppins, how could you know what we wanted in a nanny when we made our list?
Your list? I'm not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
Well, how did you come then? It was as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now, stand over there. A noisy, troublesome, mischievous little boy.
You're making that up. A noisy mistress.
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untidy.
I don't believe you. Let me see.
By the time the wind has blown the weather vane around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what the circumstance, for one thing I'm renowned. My character is spit, spot, spick, and span. I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say. Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Ah, lovely. Both prim and proper and never too stern. Well educated yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manner refined, and I wear shoes of the sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny nannies are hard to find. Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Running like an engine that's just been freshly oiled. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Well, those are my credentials. Perhaps you have a few questions?
Not temperamental.
Never.
Not grouchy or gruff.
The very thought.
Will you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss? Or have objections to playing with us?
Oh, I like games, but I choose them.
But that's not fair!
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We'll hope you'll stay.
No flies on me. Each virtue virtually knows no bound. Each trait is great
And patently sound.
patently sound. Spit spot. Jane, toys box, please. I'll take my telescope, thank you. Practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be practically perfect.
Practically perfect. We will be practically
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. I does what I likes, and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree, and it's all me own work from me own memory.
Oh, lummy. Oh, not these again.
Come on, Mr. Parkkeeper. It's just me pictures like it always is. There's no harm in 'em.
I'll be the judge of that. This is my park, and I say you are interfering with public railing. I want them removed. That is, Just you watch it. That's all. Just you watch it.
Stay right where you are. I know that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins.
It's nice to see you, Bert.
Well, I must say you do look swell.
How does he know you? He can't know you. You only just arrived.
I wasn't born one moment before I was walking into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
I've seen 'em running about, chasing a kite.
It isn't a real kite.
So what are you up to?
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called a walk in the park. Some game. I'd rather eat spinach.
Come on, Bert. You're due for a break, and you promised to take me out when we met again. Or have you forgotten?
Of course I ain't married, but...
Oh, dears, I told you you've got. Well, never mind, my treat. And no one's charging for the tree in the sky, are they?
Mary Poppins, is he really coming with us?
Why shouldn't he?
Well, to start with, he's very dirty, isn't he? Father would never approve.
What's that?
You can't come with us, you're too dirty. And besides, I don't want to go to a stinky park anyway.
Oh, yes you do. 'Cause when you walk with Mary Poppins, you go to places you've never dreamed of. And if she says it's a game, she's got something in mind. You can be certain of that.
That's a picture of the park, isn't it? That's not the park. Not our park, anyway. Look, that tree's a much different green and the sky's a much brighter blue.
I think you'll find it's just the way I've drawn it. All that it takes is a spark. Then something as plain as a park becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look anew, then you'll understand why it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Oh, really?
Oh, when the day is grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright.
You do talk nonsense, Bert.
Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dawn.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You've enough brass for all of us.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder it's Mary that we love.
Boring, just like all the nannies thinking parks are good for us. It's just statues, ducks and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss. Is she doing it to spite us? We could lose her for a lark. Perhaps it's all a plot. I'll tell you what, she seems so different, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park. What was that?
You're quite wrong, you know.
Who are you?
I'm Nelius. Surely you know that. You've sat beneath me often enough. I've waited half a century to take a walk on a sunny day like this.
Ain't it a glorious day, bright as a morning in May?
I feel like I could fly.
Have you ever seen the grass so green or a bluer sky?
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart known.
Look at the statuary. Nothing's ever set in stone. Morning, Constable.
You do look tip-top, if I may say so.
Thank you, Bert. And you may.
Each man out with his dog will stand agog to see a statue take a gentle jog. No wonder that it's Mary that we love.
It's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. A gentleman like you are few. Though you're just a diamond in the rough, Bert, underneath your blood is blue. You'd never think of pressing your advantage. Forbearance is the hallmark of your creed. A lady needn't fear when you are near. Your sweet gentility is crystal clear. It's crystal clear. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. A jolly, jolly holiday with you.
Mary. Mary.
You've only yourself to blame, Bert.
Let's go for a jaunty saunter. We are bound to make a mark. Looks like all of us were born to take a promenade in the park. Oh, let's go for a jaunty saunter. We are bound to make a mark. Looks like all of us are born to take a promenade in the park. With our finely chiseled features, we can look down from above. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. Oh, it's no wonder that it's Mary that we love. No wonder that it's Mary that we love.
Yes, but how?
Mary Poppins, of course.
How do you know Mary Poppins?
She's an old friend of my father's.
Your father, you're a statue. You can't have a father.
Well, if that's true, then why do I miss him so much?
Isn't he one of the other statues?
No, he lives a long way from here.
Do you really miss him?
Wouldn't you miss your father if you hardly ever got to see him?
I'd have to think about that.
That's it. That's what it was.
What?
Well, this plinth is half empty and the statue's gone.
Do you mean you've lost your marbles?
This is your fault, ain't it? I knew we should have trouble when you first arrived, and now we've got a statue missing. Ah! Oh, lummy.
Will you play with us again?
Of course. I'm not going anywhere.
Then we'll see you soon. Goodbye, Nelius.
Goodbye.
Nelius must be so lonely. Could his father ever come and stay?
Anything can happen if you let it.
How long will you stay?
We'll see.
You won't leave us, will you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay until the wind changes. Now run along in, it's getting cold.
Good night, Jane. Good night, Michael. Good night, Mary.
Good night, Bert.
Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Daddy, we've had a fantastic day. We sang with a busker, danced with a statue.
I played in a
band. You wouldn't have approved, but...
If you knew that, then why did you do it?
Daddy, can I have a kite? A proper one?
Could you fly it?
Could always teach me.
Now, when would I have the time to do that?
Father, who was the father of Nelius?
Would you please let me get on? Good night.
Good night. Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites and his beloved astronomy, of course.
I used to love astronomy when I was his age. My nanny, Miss Andrews, soon beat that out of me.
I suppose we do need a new nanny, George. Is it out of the question to do without one?
Don't be absurd. Of course we need a nanny. All the best people have nannies, so that the wives can do charity work and entertain. Which reminds me, how's your tea party coming along?
I'm not sure. It seems so odd to send out invitations to people I hardly know.
But they're people you should know. Remember, by your friends shall ye be judged.
But that's the point. They're not my friends. Actually, I heard today from Miss Clemmy Bunting. She's rehearsing a new play at the moment, and I thought I might ask her.
How many times must I tell you? I wish you to sever all connections with that part of your life.
George, I was an actress. Lots of people might find that interesting, though you always speak as though I should be ashamed of it.
Well, it's not exactly something to be proud of. Winifred, dearest, I am only thinking of you. I want people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, but sometimes it's hard.
It is not hard. It is your job to be Mrs. Banks.
And what is your job?
To pay for everything. What is it?
I was only going to kiss you goodnight.
Oh, all right. Are you going to say something to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
I don't think so.
Very well. Just make sure she's doing things our ways and not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who's disciplined and stern. With boys and girls, you don't befriend them. I fear that Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
Being Mrs. Banks should be an easy role, and yet it's one which I don't seem too good at on the whole. I have a comfy home,
I have a simple life. I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Being Mrs. Banks, what does that entail? Facing tests of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I'd like to say no thanks. That's not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks.
I still feel as if I'm dreaming. So much fun in just one day. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. I'm sure Neelius is beaming. Let's hope she will stay. Let's hope she will stay.
Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim, see what you learn. Me, I was told when I was small, just learn a trade, so I learned them all. Chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
Morning, Bert. Swabbing the decks today, I see.
Gotta keep the street ship safe, Admiral.
Tell me, how are things aboard number 17? All plain sailing with Mary Poppins, I trust.
There's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Ah, Miss Lark. What those children need is a touch of the cat and a night on the yardarm.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness. Wilby! Mrs. Brill, don't make the sandwiches too early or they'll get stale before the guests arrive.
Everything's under control, ma'am.
And what about the cake?
Cooling on the tray, waiting to be iced.
And you're quite sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure, ma'am. And in case you're worried, I was not exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
No.
No?
Well, I'll go up and check on the drawing room.
I'd like to be helpful.
And I'd like to be rich, but the good Lord thought otherwise.
Mother wants you in the drawing room.
Well, she can't have me. I've enough on my plate as it is.
She says you can tell Roberts and I what to do.
Does she indeed? Why don't I go have a smoke near the gasworks for good measure?
Please, Mrs. Brill, I don't mind, honest.
All right, I'll give you one task and one task only. If you get this wrong, I'll swing for you and sing as they pull the lever.
What is it, Mrs. Brill?
Put the icing tools next to the cake, and I'll need a bowl of hot water to warm them. I'll make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Icing tools, cake, hot water. I'll make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Now, do you think you can handle that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. Once the cake's done, I have the sandwiches next because Madam wants them fresh. So I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. I swear, a slave in ancient Rome was on a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house.
Well, don't just stand there, Robertson Eye.
Right. No.
What are you looking for?
A bowl for the water.
Michael, why don't we make the icing? Because we don't know how? Don't be so feeble and get me the eggs. Are there really eggs in icing? There are in mine.
I don't think Mrs. Brill will thank you.
Then she will be guilty of great ingratitude. Is it supposed to look like this?
It doesn't look like that when Mrs. Brill does it.
Don't be impertinent and get me the cake.
Honestly, Miss Jane, I was only trying to be helpful. If you would...
Mrs. Brill, go up and get ready now. What have you done? Robertson Eye! Oh dear, should I call a doctor?
I don't think that will be necessary, ma'am.
How could you? And just when you know how important my party is. You two deserve some very nasty medicine. Just you wait till bedtime.
Oh, I don't think we should wait till then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear up, won't we?
I'm not telling you can't make me take it.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty. Open.
It's strawberry ice.
Now you.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Now off we go, you two. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane.
I told you she was tricky. Can't Robertson Eye do it when he wakes up? He is a servant.
With that attitude, you'll get through quite a lot of stuff before you're very old. Besides, in every job that's to be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a lark, a spree. It's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. The honey bees that fetch the nectar from the flowers to the comb never tire of ever buzzing to and fro, because they take a little nip from every flower that they sip, and hence they find their task is not a grind. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. Spitspot, cups on saucers, please. Is this how you usually do it, Michael? Rum punch, my favorite.
Mary Poppins, however did you get them to do it? You're a miracle worker.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine
Go down, medicine, go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
So, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful, way. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful, in a most delightful way.
We'll be off now, ma'am.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Apparently these arrived this morning, and Roberts and I forgot to give them to you. They're apologies from your guests, ma'am. They're not coming. None of them.
Do you think I chose the wrong day?
No, ma'am. I think you asked the wrong people.
Poppins, where are we going today?
I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree? If he did, you must have put the idea into his head. Somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say. Me, putting ideas into other people's heads. Really.
Good morning. Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hilt. For shrewd investment and advice, they'll pay our price, the bedrock on which banks are built. Banks, a word. I see your Von Hustler's coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good, good. Be sure it's the right one.
Herr Banks, what objections could you possibly have? My security is more than adequate, and Latin America is an expanding market. What is the matter? Have you no courage?
Yes, but Mr. Von Hustler, what I have not been able to grasp is, what exactly is your final product?
What do you think? Money, of course.
Yes, money. But I wonder, making money out of money, is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire to make his name in many distant lands. And in the new world, I am told, will soon strike gold. Let's seize that chance with both our hands.
Well, Mr. Banks, have you come to your decision? There's a town full of good people whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. You won't regret it. The factory could be up and running in weeks and expanding before the year's out. I'll give it everything I've got, sir. You have to believe me.
I do believe you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried to find a way, but there's just not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men in search of a better life. They're my collateral. My men have dreams to earn an honest living, a wife and son, a home to call their own. If you invest in us today, it paves the way. I promise we'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook, but
Hello, Daddy!
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
No? We're done. A man should never be too busy for his own children. What are you here for, young man? Come for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need money for?
Well, it's never too early to learn its true value.
I know the value of this. 6pence.
No, that's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. Do good, and you may have good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you!
I'll wait outside.
What is the meaning of this? Really, Mary Poppins, I am not without a sense of humor.
Aren't you though, Daddy?
No, I am not. But when I was a little boy, I would never have dared interrupt my father.
You are a little boy.
Of course I was. But my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way, and he would have been very annoyed if she hadn't.
What about your mother?
I shouldn't think I saw either one of them more than once a week.
Didn't they mind?
Mind? They were glad to be rid of me.
Who kissed you goodnight, Miss Andrew?
Most certainly not. There was no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense. What is the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean, poor? That's what made me the man I am today, eh, Mary Poppins?
Yes, I'm afraid it did.
That is enough. You have seen where I work and I have a great deal to do.
When you invest in the bank's money, what are you looking for? A good man or a good idea?
Well, I suppose I should say it's a good idea. But a good man is much rarer, much more valuable.
Come along, children.
Mr. Vaughan Hustler, I have considered your argument, but I'm afraid that my answer is no.
So you don't recognize a good idea when you see one?
Perhaps not, but I do recognize a good man when I see one.
You will regret this, Herr Banks.
A man with dreams that life isn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Now, Mr. Northbrook, when exactly could the factory open?
Thank you, sir. You won't regret it.
the birds. Tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Oh look, there's that whole old woman.
Don't point. And for your information, she is not in the least horrible.
But she's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn to look past what you see? Early each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes in her own special way to the people she calls. Come, buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. Their young ones are hungry, their nests are so bare, all it takes is tuppence from you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead her birds fill the skies.
What are you doing? I'm going to give him my sixpence. What a waste.
That's a matter of opinion. Here, 2 bags, please. Save your sixpence. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that he cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
There, all gone.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
You don't say. Well, here she is now. You can tell yourself.
Isn't that Miss Lark's dog Willoughby?
Don't interrupt when someone's barking. You were saying? Really? Well, if she keeps running off, perhaps it would be better if you kept her on a lead. Willoughby! Look, here she comes now.
Oh, Willoughby, it's all right. Mummy's here now.
Thank you. You know, you could almost swear he could talk. Oh, Libby.
But can Willoughby really talk?
Of course he can. Getting him to stop is the problem.
How do you learn to talk with dog?
How do you think? Master the grammar
Practice when you can.
and avoid mongrels.
Far too much slang.
Now, come along. I can't stand here all day talking shop.
Talking shop? What a silly expression.
There's nothing silly about it in the least.
What do you buy in a talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never seen a talking shop.
Well, there is only one, and it belongs to Mrs. Corey.
Who's Mrs. Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey's older than anyone in the world. She talked to William before he went conquering, to Vlad before he went impaling, and to Alexander when he weren't so great.
We'll have to call by our shop in the park.
There is no shop in the park.
Remember, anything can happen if you let it.
That's it. I've run out of conversations.
Good day to you, Mrs. Corey.
Well, if it isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks.
She knows us?
And our poor little Georgie.
Who?
Georgie Banks, your father. He used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in secret.
That can't have been the same George Banks. That would have been almost 40 years ago. No one can remember back that far.
Listen, dearie, I remember everything. I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread. I wonder if we've got any left today. Annie, Fanny, look lively.
Yes, Mother.
Ah, there you are, gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars. Georgie always saved the stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you?
Well, I did want an ounce of conversations.
I'm out of conversations, and I'm right out of words, too. You see, I've had a lot of chatterboxes in here today. But let me see what we have left. Oh, we do have a little bit of letters and back chat left. An ounce, you say? That'll be 15 letters. Go on, take your pick.
Jane, you can choose 7.
I've got D, R, G, you C, L, and I. Those aren't of any use. You can't make good conversation out of them.
Now you, Michael, 7 more.
I've got A, S, F, E, T, O, and P.
And I'll choose an X. Now, what words can we make out of these?
Well, I see dog and cat.
Rotoplex. That's 9.
Lepidopterus, that's 11. Nearly there.
Those don't count. You made them up.
And where do you think words came from in the first place? They had to come from somewhere.
You know, you can always use the same letter more than once. Now let's see. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
But that's not a word.
Of course it's a word, and unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it's going to prove a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversations keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Diddle 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 I.
But it doesn't doesn't mean anything.
It can mean exactly what you want it to. When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though at their this word they might have used it once or twice.
I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have grasped it in a jiff. Then every single pyramid would bear this hieroglyph. Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it in loud animals would not seem so ferocious.
Add some further flourishes, it's suricococious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I.
The Druids could have carved it on their mighty monoliths.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their myths.
I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
If you say it softly, the effect can be hypnosis.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle, diddle-I.
You can't say it backwards, which is silicon-a-lie, because it gets siligar for the crapus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants, add 16 vowels as well, and put it in an order which is very hard to spell.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Smarty pants. The winds may blow, but who's to know exactly what it's bringing? Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
Put the stool there and stand back. You are never to come near that vase, nor no one else but me neither. That is an heirloom.
Heirloom.
While I do this, stay totally immobile.
Immobile.
Do not move a muscle.
Muscle.
Do not breathe. Do you hear me?
I might as well be dead.
Don't give me any ideas.
A game is played, a change is made, but still a road is long. And oh, they might yet fly a kite, sometimes the wind's too strong.
George, what's happened? Are you ill?
No. Should I be?
Of course not, only why are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No. Everything's all wrong.
Oh, my dear, what is it?
If you must know, I refused some German chap a loan. It seems he went to our chief rivals. They gave him the money and now it's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time, can they?
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect. That is more than loud enough. Go to your room.
But we would just...
I do not care what you adjust. Upstairs, now. Where's my briefcase? I put it here. Michael? Jane? Will you give it to me? Must I put up with this nonsense? You're their mother. Why can't you do something?
Well, I can try not shouting for a start.
Mary Poppins, you're supposed to be here to teach the children manners, and just look at them. Why, they're a pair of little savages. If I had my way, you'd be out of this house
George,
by...
You're tired. Don't bring the children downstairs tonight, Mary Poppins. Mr. Binks is quite exhausted. Perhaps you could keep him occupied.
I hope you haven't forgotten, ma'am. Tonight's my evening out.
What? Oh dear, I had forgotten. I suppose the best people wouldn't ask you to change your plans.
No, ma'am, they wouldn't.
I thought not.
That's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and will shut up in the nursery. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him.
Jane, take that back this instant. I will not have you criticize your father.
Why not? He criticizes you. Last week he said you were neither use nor ornament.
How dare you?
Well, I heard him say it and so did you.
Sometimes people say things they don't mean. Take the children upstairs, please, Mary Poppins. George.
What is it now?
I thought you might like to talk about it.
What would be the point?
Perhaps I could be of some help.
Don't be ridiculous.
George, I'm serious. If you have troubles, I'd like to share them.
Don't worry. You will. The fact is, I've been suspended without salary until they can decide what to do with me.
Twists and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces had better change quick, 'cause if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimney chim chim, chirry chim chiroo.
It's not fair. You're going out and we get stuck in the nursery.
You've plenty of toys to play with.
I don't want to. They're boring.
They might say the same about you.
Why does Daddy always get so cross? Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Maybe, but have you ever asked yourself who looks after the fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose.
Not the children.
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Sometimes families are upside down, for a while anyway.
I don't want to be an upside-down family. I wish I could run away. Then why don't you? Somebody might adopt you, but you'd miss me. No, I wouldn't, and plus I could have all your toys. No, you could not. Yes, I could, and I jolly well would. Give that to me. Now look what you've done.
That's no way to treat Valentine. What's she ever done to you?
She's a doll, silly. She can't do anything.
That'll be all, you two. Now into bed at once.
But we haven't had our milk.
There'll be no buts and no milk either. If you can't be good, you might as well be sorry.
I wish you'd just leave us alone.
Careful the things you wish for. Poor Valentine. Go inside and make yourself presentable.
Well, I don't want to go to bed and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things,
your information
is faulty. Playing the game, taking your turn. Some children lose, some children learn. Treat the toys nicely and maybe they'll treat you the same. Playing the game. Are you feeling any better, Valentine?
Much better, thank you.
Tempers are frayed, tempers are lost. Nobody stops to think of the cost.
But they tore my arm again.
Oh dear. Children who lose their temper will lose everything else in the end.
They're not playing the game, not playing fair, not with the doll, not with the bear. Thrown on the floor and neglected, and they were to blame. Playing the game. Please tell them, Mary Poppins.
Why don't you tell them?
What's going on? What's happened to all our toys? Make them go small and get back in their boxes.
Why should I? You've hurt them and called them names. Now it's their turn. Some in the toys. Now is the time to tell of your woes, to tell of their cries. Come one, come all, enter the fray. They need to hear what you have to say.
Those girls and boys who treat us this way don't deserve fun. So why should we stay? They stamp and shout.
Well,
You think you know everything.
I couldn't agree more. Jane?
They're our toys and we'll do what we like with them. So there.
So there indeed. Playing the game, having a ball. Those who won't play shan't play at all.
Well, we meet again.
Maybe when they've learned to play the game. Is that you, Bert?
Up where the smoke is all billowed and curled, 'tween pavement and stars, that's the chimney sweep's world, where there's hardly no day, nor hardly no night. There's things half in shadows and halfways in light. On the rooftops of London, cool, what a sight.
So you're a sweep now, are you?
The best view in the world, eh? And who gets to see it but the birds, the stars, and the chimney sweeps? Nothing to beat it, eh? Now as the ladder of life has been strung, you may think a sweep's on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this so wide world there's no happier bloke. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree, a sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo.
Good luck will rub off when he shakes hands with you.
Or blow me a kiss,
But
and that's lucky too. So you're leaving then?
the wind has changed.
But they're good kids, Mary.
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't? But I can't help them if they won't let me. And there's nobody so hard to teach as a child who knows everything.
So?
So they've got to do the next bit on their own.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree.
When you're with a sweep, you're in glad company. Goodbye, Bert.
Chim, chim, chim chim chiree. When you're with a sweep, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there a more happier crew than them what sings chim chim chiree chim chiroo. chim chimney, chim chim, cherry.
Cheerio, Bert. Keep an eye on them for me.